Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a fantastic weekend so far. I hope you're all healthy and strong and being productive, and I hope you're all happy. Welcome Aditya, our new member. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch and join in this class. We are looking at IELTS speaking part 2, looking at the cue card question to get those top answers, to give your best possible answer in the speaking interview. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. And for the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Now, this is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and repeat throughout this lesson. It's good practice. Okay, so it's great that you're watching. It's great that you're listening. Hopefully you join in on the chat. But at the same time, make sure to speak, okay? Be brave, be confident, and just speak. Hi, Kyber. Hi, Harvinder. Good to see more students joining in. While we wait for a few more of your peers, our academic IELTS website looks like this with a blue background. You can click that big red button to join our premium package. We're an IELTS registration test center, certified agents. When you join, you will have a My Student account. In your My Student account, you will have computer-based IELTS practice exams, a full interactive course, workbooks, study plans, lots and lots of HD lesson videos, audio CDs, and more, including help for your speaking and writing. So you have writing task 1, task 2 help, and then you also have student partner speaking and speaking interview practice. So check that out. Same idea for the general IELTS. It's the green background. You can click that big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and it really doesn't cost very much. Hello back at you in Uzbekistan. Good afternoon there. It's very early morning here for me. It's 5:30 a.m. on the west coast of North America, Pacific Standard Time. Students, we have apps for your mobile. These apps will also connect to your web accounts. So Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help, you can get those from your app stores. You can log in and connect those for some integrative learning. And if you have questions, you can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. I will happily help you out. We have lots of classes coming up next week. Today we have speaking part 2 and speaking part 3 right after. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we have no live classes. And then Wednesday to Thursday, we'll have lots more live classes. The schedule will be up on YouTube on our channel. So make sure to subscribe, hit the notification button, so you know when these live classes are going on. Hi, Farjus. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Okay, so let's get into our IELTS speaking part 2 cue card for today. So you're in the IELTS speaking interview. The speaking interview is about 12 minutes. Part 1 will take about 5 minutes. It's basically questions about some general topic about you, like your hobbies, sports that you play, books that you like to read. Once you're done part 1, the examiner will say, okay, that is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read the questions, think about your answers, take notes in the 1 minute if you wish, and then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. So part 2 altogether takes about 3 minutes. It is the most important 3 minutes of your 12-minute interview. because it will also greatly impact your part 3 speaking performance. Okay, part 3 is connected to part 2, and we're actually going to have our part 3 speaking after this class as well, so you can see that. Okay. Good morning, June. Good morning, Paulo, Ois, Atmal. Very nice. Jyoti, good to have lots of you in the class now. Hi, Gopal. Good to have you in the class. All right. So the examiner these days, basically, they show you a booklet. They have a book with questions. They'll flip to the page with one of the questions for that exam day, and then they'll show you the questions. They'll ask you not to touch the booklet because of COVID and so on, but you can clearly see the questions. And you might see a question cue card like this. Okay. Now, when they show you the questions, they will actually read this topic statement or the topic question, you can say, and then they'll tell you your 1 minute preparation begins now. So basically the examiner says, okay, I will show you some questions. Talk about an object that you own which needs training to use. You should say, what is this object? What do you use it for? Where did you get it? What kind of training does it need? And what is the best place to learn this skill? Okay, so you've got lots of questions here. And it's very important to practice, especially part 2 of the speaking before your IELTS exam. Because even if you have really good English, like even if you're like, oh, I'm fluent in English, this will be easy peasy. And, it's kind of interesting because we see like students who have really good English, they've been learning it since childhood on our YouTube channel. And they're like, oh, hey guys, don't worry about your IELTS exam. I didn't study. I just sat it yesterday and I got a band 8 or I got a band 8.5. in my speaking. It was easy peasy. And I tend to write back to those people like, yeah, but imagine if you study just a little bit to understand the format of the speaking, you could have probably gotten a 9. And how amazing or how awesome when you can get that perfect score. So it's always a good idea, no matter how good you are, to at least understand the format. And it's probably because they didn't expect part 2 or didn't practice for part 2 that they didn't get that perfect band 9. Okay. Part 2 is not something we do every day. We don't go around giving little 2-minute mini speeches about objects that we own that need training for people. So it takes practice. Okay. Everybody got that? So no matter how good your English, you should definitely practice part 2 because part 2 is not natural everyday language. Okay. It takes skill. Right? Kyber says, yep, thumbs up. Awesome, Kyber. I am glad you are on the same page as me. So your first step is to really just look at the question carefully, look at it twice so that you can make sure that you're on the right topic. Now, being able to give small presentations or speeches is an extremely valuable skill in the English language. And there's an international club that focuses on public speaking. It's a free club to join. It's really amazing. A lot of people love it. It's quite amazing. I've had a little bit of experience with it, and I know that people who join this club regularly really speak greatly about it. Anybody know what that is? What is that international club? You can find out about them on the internet. They're all over the world. They might be in your city as well. You just have to check. Anybody know what that international club is called that helps you to do public speaking? It's free. Everybody gets a chance. You get to evaluate each other and give feedback for each other. Anybody know what that club is? You might even know it without me helping you. Anybody know what that club is called? And I'm going to give you this huge tip to start you off today. Absolutely free. There's no catch here. They've been around a long time, way before the internet even. It used to be a paper and pencil club. I don't know why it's freezing like that. That's so weird. Just give me 1 second. If you hear me okay still, that's great. Let me see if I can fix this freezing here. Anyway, I got a new camera connection for next week, so this shouldn't happen. But let's try this, okay? So let me try to start this back up again. Okay. Meanwhile, let me know. You don't need to see me move around for this. What is the club? Okay. So tell me, what is the club that helps you to improve your public speaking? And try to, I mean, we can always Google it, obviously, but you might know the name of it. Okay. So here we go. All right. So anybody know the name of this club? Okay, Paulo says, I don't know it. Please tell us. Okay, so the name of this club is called Toastmasters. So to improve your public speaking, check to see. You guys can see the screen move now because I can see it move now, so it's all good. So to improve your public speaking, check to see if you can join an English. They actually, I think they have it in other languages as well, but check to see if you can join an English Toastmasters. So the name of this club is called Toastmasters club in your area. Okay. So the club name is Toastmasters. Toastmasters. Anybody heard about that now that I'm saying it? Okay. So Toastmasters is a club that that indeed helps you with public speaking. Okay, and that will definitely help your part too. Okay. Anybody know what the meaning of Toastmaster is? Okay. All right. So a Toastmaster is the person who is appointed to give a speech at a gathering, like a big family dinner with all your relatives, and then somebody gets up with their glass and usually a spoon or a knife at the dinner table, and they go, okay, everybody, I'd like to say a few words. Thank you all for coming here to this wonderful evening, to be in the company of friends and family and in love and happiness. And then you keep going, right? So that's what a Toastmaster is. A toast at Mal is, a short speech. So definitely if you're Googling how to give a toast or tips for giving a toast or Toastmaster, then you will find lots of great tips for short speeches in part 2. And again, do yourself a huge favor, check out your Toastmasters club in your area. No, I'm not sponsored by them. They are absolutely a free club. They always have been for many, many years. Okay, they've been around, I think, longer than I have been alive. Okay. And Paulo says, never heard about it. There's club around my area. Great. Right on, Paulo. I'm happy. There you go. So that's a gem for today. Always a good idea to come to these classes, right, Paulo? All right. Okay. So let's read the question again, and then we'll get into this. So talk about an object that you own which needs training to use. You should say, what is this object? What do you use it for? Where did you get it? What kind of training does it need? And what is the best place to learn this skill? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. Okay, you will have 1 minute to prepare what you're going to say. So if you're using our course, if you're watching these classes, you know that step one is read the questions twice, quickly and carefully. Okay. Step two is identify that you are talking about an object. To clearly talk about an object, you need to say A, its appearance, B, its origin, so where did you get it, where does it come from, C, its function, how you use it, D, its utility or value, okay, for you, all right? And of course, you want to make sure to answer all the questions on the card. Okay, so you're going to look at the card too. Step three, or it could be included in step two, but step three is identify the primary tense of verbs that you are going to use. And so in this case, it's an object that needs training. So you're going to use the present perfect tense for the most part. Okay. And maybe some past tense as well. So I'm going through these steps fairly quickly so that you can see that it's fast. When you know what you're doing, it's fast. Okay. All right. So step 4 is come up with A, original, B, easy to talk about. Hi, Nilafir. I'm doing great, thank you. Easy to talk about. And C, lots of content ideas for your response. Think of at least 2 to 3 possible answers. Okay, so here you have an object that you own, which needs training to use. What are some objects that you own that need training to use that you could easily talk about for 2 minutes? That's original, that you have lots of vocabulary for. What do you think? Okay. Think about it in a way that it's easy to talk about, it's easy to describe, it's easy to explain its function. So give me some objects. Give me some objects that you can find in your home that you think needs some training to use that not every other candidate will be talking about. Okay. Jyoti says it maybe could be a musical instrument like my violin. Okay, yeah. Violin or piano, harmonium. Yeah, I think Kyber falls in that same category. Hasna says maybe my computer printer. Okay, sure. My laser printer. Yep, absolutely. Paulo, so Paulo says it's difficult for me to come up with some ideas. Visualize, Paulo. So think about objects that you're using throughout the day, and then think about which one of those actually needs some skill or some training. Okay. Hasna says maybe a 3D printer. Okay. Yeah. Ois says, how about a chessboard? Yeah, absolutely. Some kind of a game like chessboard. Yeah, could be a very, very good one also. Harwinder says skipping rope. Harwinder, I love the simplicity of that. Very nice. Okay. Mal says my hair dryer. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so hair dryer. Why not? Pressure cooker. Okay, even think of something simple like pen, paintbrush. Okay, so what I want to show you here is that you can think real simple. So if I were given this question, I might go with something as simple as a pen or a paintbrush. We tend to ignore such simple ideas because we think, oh yeah, everybody has one, everybody can use it. But wait a second, a pen or a paintbrush, they actually can take a lifetime of training to use well, right? So sports equipment, skates, tennis racket, ice skates, if you want to talk about skates, right? So the trick here, okay, this is an important trick, is think simple. Often, the best ideas for part 2 are simple ideas, okay? So often, the best ideas for high band part 2 responses are simple ideas. Okay, so that's really important. So who was asking me that? Paulo, keep your thoughts simple. Robin Hood says, how about a washing machine? Yeah, a washing machine would be very good too. It's original. And I'm really happy that I haven't seen my mobile phone or smartphone or my computer come up, okay? And that's great. I'm really enjoying how none of you have said that, because I think a lot of IELTS candidates are realizing now that it's best to stay away from these complicated machines that everybody wants to talk about, right? So it's great that you're staying away from mobile phone. All right, now the one thing about things like a laser printer or a pressure cooker or a violin, or even a washing machine, is it could be difficult to talk about, okay? So make sure to recognize that some items are much more difficult to talk about than others, especially when you have to talk about an object, okay? So be careful that some items are much more difficult to talk about than others because they require specialized vocabulary. Okay, so for example, pressure cooker, violin, laser printer, 3D printer, could be good examples of that. Like, for example, violin, you need to know words like music notes, score, bow, resin, pluck, string. Okay. So when you're talking about a violin, to describe a violin well, you would have to know the different parts of the violin using English. You would have to know the specialized vocabulary about learning to read music and learning to play music. So if you don't know that in English, you're getting yourself into a very difficult conversation or a very difficult presentation. So be really, really careful about that, okay? Everybody picking up on that, because that's one of the very common mistakes that I see. And sometimes students who are band 6 or 7 score a band 5 in their speaking because for part 2 they choose a topic that's really tricky to talk about. It takes a lot of vocabulary, and then they freeze and they get frustrated and they get confused. So be super, super careful about that, okay? Thomas, I probably wouldn't go with my smart TV because it's going to be, I think, a very common answer, TV, okay? Yeah, so Paulo says don't put yourself in a situation of difficulty. Absolutely. So talking about medical equipment and so on. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. Always don't put yourself on an edge. Okay? This is kind of what Toastmasters can help you with. You realize that some things are easy to get into, some things are difficult to get into. Okay, so I like the idea of the skipping rope. Okay? So let's do that for today. Okay, I'm going to kind of veto here and go with something that's simple. It's kind of a sports equipment. It's used for exercise. A lot of us have a skipping rope in our home. I know I have one somewhere as well. Okay, and there's a lot of information that you can say about a skipping rope, and it's fairly easy language. So I think it's a beautiful choice, okay? Or it's original, it's easy to talk about, and lots of content there. Okay. All right. So the next step, step 5 here, is to take some notes or write some notes or make some notes, British, American English, however you want to say it. First is the appearance. Okay. So what does your skipping rope look like? Okay, what does a skipping rope look like? Give me some information. Describe it. Okay, there are lots of different types of skipping ropes. So this is where you'd want to, tell me what it looks like so I can picture your skipping rope. The one that you have, not the one that I have, not the one that somebody else has, but your skipping rope. Okay, Paulo says it's plastic, so it's green. Mine's yellow. It's green with black plastic handles. Okay. Atharwa, very good. It's made from nylon. I like the vocabulary. Okay, black plastic handles. There's a bit more that we can say about it here as well. Okay. Ozma says mine has a counter on the end. Very good. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are cool. That show you how many times you've actually skipped. Okay. Yeah, digital counter in the handles. Okay. June says string, braided cotton or nylon, 2 to 3 meters. Yeah. Let's make it 2 meters. Okay, I think 3 meters would be a bit long. So it's one or the other, June. Okay. And I like the description, June. It's braided. Yeah, it's usually braided. Braided nylon. Very good. Okay, I see a lot of 2 meters and 3 meters. Hey, if you're thinking quick, maybe you'll say, okay, it's 2.5 meters. Okay, there you go. So 2.5, we'll find that happy middle ground. Okay, that's the appearance. That's good. Where'd you get it? Okay. So these parts here, like the appearance and the origin, you just want to be really quick. You don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Just a few sentences, nice and quick for the examiner, so they say, oh yeah, here's a person who is a visual speaker. They can create imagery, they can give detail. Robin, 1 meter long would be a little bit too short. 1 meter would be extremely difficult. So careful, make sure, Robin, that the answers are accurate. Okay? All right. Okay, so origin. Paulo says gift from my wife. Sure, okay. Maybe your wife sending a message about fitness, Paulo? I'm not sure. Okay. Gift from wife 2 years ago. Sports shop. Okay. All right, good. So it was a gift from your wife a couple of years ago. She got it from a sports shop. She figured, hey, husband needs to do a bit more jumping. So let's give him a Some rope. Paulo says, yeah, absolutely, all the time. Maybe you bought it from Amazon, Asma. Sure. All right. Okay, so its function, how do you use it? Okay. Um, Now think here, really visualize when you do this. Okay? So, what is the function of a skipping rope? It's also called a jump rope. So, jump rope, skipping rope, you can paraphrase it. What is the function of it? So, how do you use it? Okay? Visualize it. And if you got some tips, I'm ready because I've been doing skip rope for a long time, but I'm always learning newer and newer ways to use it. So skipping rope or jump rope. Okay. Those are different ways to say the same. Okay. Husna says to be taller. Okay. Fardu says jumping. So jump over the rope, right? So, okay. All right, give me some more information. Robin Hood says, I bought it from an online sports vendor at a discounted price last Halloween. Sure, Robin, I love the description there. Harwinder says you can do double unders, okay? Sure, double unders, double jumps. Yep, so there's different kinds of tricks. Okay, Asma says it's to tone the calves. That's going to be the next one. It's the importance of it. But how do you use it? Okay, so students, when you're thinking about how to use something, try to imagine it like you're explaining it to a child who's doing it for the first time. And I'm sure for those of you who are parents, you know what I'm talking about here. Okay, so tip, explain it in such a way that a child using it for the first time will understand. Okay, so try this again because, you know, I think a lot of you are explaining this in a way that the person already knows how to use a jump rope. And then you're like, okay, you jump it. And it's like, okay, right? When I first, oh, I have to laugh. When I first explained jump rope to my young daughter, I'm like, you have to jump it. So she put it on the ground and she jumped over top of it. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the idea, I guess. You jump over it, right? So she literally just put the rope on the ground and jumped over it. And I was like, okay, fair enough, right? So there's more to skipping rope than just jumping over the rope, right? Okay, Asma says you use your hands and wrists to swirl the rope. There you go, Asma. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, so use your hands, arms, wrists, shoulders to swirl the rope around the body. I mean, I wouldn't actually write this many notes here, but I'm just doing it so that you learn the language and you learn the description here, right? So swirl the rope around the body and jump over it as it comes to the feet, right? So that's how you do it, okay? Yeah, Paulo says jump over it and let it pass over your head so you can jump over it again and again, okay? All right, so now we've got a good idea of how to do it. It could be also done, right, with partners. Okay, so it can actually be a group activity, right? Okay, so the notes here are obviously a little bit detailed. You wouldn't be writing notes like that, but your notes for this one would be something like this, okay? So it would be team of 3. Okay, that way you'd realize that, oh yeah, I could talk about how this can be a fun group activity with multiple people, right? Multiple people exercising, right? Ozma says setting a pace. Okay, so now what's its utility? What's its value for you? Okay. Okay, I think was it Ozma that says get a good calf workout? Okay, calves are the bottom parts of the leg, sure. So it's a very good workout for the legs, the feet, the ankles, the toes, right? What else? So what else is the utility? I think we can think of definitely a few different answers for this, okay? Atharwa says reduce belly fat, build stamina, yeah. All right. What else do you get from that? Okay, Thomas, Robin, get in there. Let's hear some more answers. I think if you have the vocabulary, cardiovascular health, right? You get a really good heartbeat going. It's a very good type of exercise for cardiovascular health. Hasna says to be happy. Absolutely. Skipping rope is a very good way to relieve stress. Yeah, stress relief and happiness. Okay. All right. Oa says I lost 10K. Yep, absolutely. 30 minutes of skip rope a day. I guarantee you'll be fit as a fiddle. There you go. We'll get the violin in there. Another way to say violin is fiddle. And there's the expression fit as a fiddle. Okay. Awesome, everyone. So we're doing great. And again, remember to answer all the questions on the card. So the one question that we haven't answered yet in our notes is where is the best place to learn how to use it? Okay, remember that question there? So what kind of training does it need and what is the best place to learn this skill? So where's the best place to learn the skill of skip rope? Okay. What would you say? Like if I walked up to you and I said, I've been trying to figure out the skip rope for like 20 years, ever since I was a child, and I can't. So where can I learn how to use the skip rope? Okay. Okay, Fardua says park in the gym, so lots of space. Yeah, absolutely. Training center, YouTube videos. Yeah. Okay, good. So we've got lots there. Now, step 6, and a very important step, is to have your first sentence ready. Okay, so everybody get your first sentence ready. And for the first sentence, directly answer the cue card question. Okay, so the original question here is talk about an object that you own which needs training to use. Okay, all right. So for me, I'm going to write this and then we'll compare. Give your own answer first. Don't really look at mine, so think about your own answer, and then I'll write up my answer here in a few seconds, and then we'll look at each other's responses for this first sentence and compare and see how we did, okay? So, yeah, Robin Hood, you're burning calories for sure with that skip rope. So, one object. All right. There is my first sentence. Keep your first sentence fairly simple. Don't make any grammatical, vocabulary, coherence mistakes with your first sentence, because that just sounds really bad. Imagine you're starting a 2-minute speech for a group of people. Here it's just the examiner, but even worse if you're at a company meeting and your first sentence has some difficult to understand words or ideas because of grammar, pronunciation, and so on, right? Okay. Paulo Reese says, an object that I possess, and it's very tricky to use without previous training, is a jumping rope. Very good, Paulo. I love it. There you go. See, Paulo, you can come up with ideas, and they can be very, very good. Hasna says, I would say the skipping rope takes a lot of practice, though it seems easy to use. Hasna, remember the important parts of the question. An object that you own. Okay, that's part of the question. So make sure it's a part of your answer, Hasna. Okay, so I would say a skipping rope takes a lot of practice, though it seems easy to use. I have owned one for the past 5 years, and I'm still not very good with it. Okay, so make sure you put that in there somewhere, Hasna, in that opening element. Okay. Harwinder says, an object that belongs to me and requires practice to use is skipping rope. Yeah, Harvinder, very good. I like it. I like how you're being original. It's different than the others so far, and it works. Ois says, the item that really needs training that I have bought 2 years ago is a skipping rope. Okay, Ois, not bad. You need a little bit of grammatical correction there. Okay. June says, one of the items I have that requires specific training and coaching to use is an orange skipping rope. Very good, June. Okay, that will work. Farduous says, I would like to talk about a green skipping rope with black handles about 2 meters long. It was a gift from my husband at my birthday party. Farduous, 2 mistakes. Number 1, don't say, I would like to talk about. You're talking about it, so you don't need to say that, okay? So just say it. I would like to talk about is not considered high-level communication, okay? In university for presentations, your professor will say, don't say that, just talk about it, okay? The other important point, Farduous, is you're missing a part of the topic, so which takes training to use or takes practice to use, so you have to include that in there. Okay. Deepika, that's so awesome. Deepika is a longtime member of the channel and student, and Deepika is just sharing some scores. You got 7.5, 8.5, 8, and 7, overall 8, which means you are a very good user of the English language. Deepika, that's a score to be proud of. Put it up on your wall and smile when you walk past it, because you really should be proud of that. Congratulations. Yeah, that's a beautiful achievement. It really is. It really is. Okay. So very nice. Okay. Asma, don't start that way. Okay. Asma says, although there are many objects which I have and still need training myself, but the one I would like to talk about is, no, Asma, you have really good language. I can tell from your comments. So don't make those weird template mistakes that we see online where people are like, well, there are a lot of objects in my house that need training. No. Talk about an object that you own, okay? So, Asma, very important, start directly, okay? Start more directly. Especially someone with your English level, you should not be filling your language with these kinds of templates, okay? All right? So don't do that, Asma. Okay. All right. So here we go, everyone. So one object which I have in my possession and takes a fair bit of practice to use well is my green and black skipping rope. Okay. Now I'm going to give my 2-minute response using my notes. Follow with me, and then we'll go over it together at the end. So all I'm doing here is I'm basically just taking my notes. Okay. And I'm going through my notes. And if I get stuck, I look at my notes, okay? So that's all I'm doing, okay? So to be more precise, this is a 2.5 meter long braided nylon rope with thick plastic handles that even have a digital counter in them to show the number of times I have jumped in a training session. This skipping rope this particular, maybe I've owned other ones, skipping rope was gifted to me by my wife for my birthday 3 years ago when COVID started, as she knew I would be spending much time at home, and she wanted to make sure that I would stay fit and healthy. So she bought it from our local sports store. Sport Check. Okay, and then how do I use it, right? So it took me a bit of time to figure out how to use this exercise equipment well. The way it works is I need to hold the handles tight so they don't fly out of my hands even when they get sweaty. And then by twisting my wrists, arms, and shoulders, I can fling the rope around my head and jump over them as they pass under my feet. Of course, there are lots of advanced techniques to double jump or twist the rope to either side of my body. And this makes the exercise more interesting. The best place to learn about skipping rope is at the gym from a personal trainer that has years of experience. However, because of the lockdowns at the time that I got my skipping rope, the best option for me was to learn the right techniques from instructors on YouTube. Certainly, having and using the skipping rope has brought me lots of benefits, including improved stamina, cardiovascular exercise, and my calves have doubled in size. All right. So just kind of flying along there, and I can see that many of our members are also writing some nice sentences into the chat. And that's great, Paulo. That's great, Ois. I'm kind of reading those out of the corner of my eye. Okay. So here I wanted to show you how quickly you can put this all together, provided that you know what you're going to say. And when you get stuck, all you do is you look at your notes, you look at the cue card, and you're ready to go, all right? So here we go, everyone. Let's do this together. So this is a speaking class, and I want to build fluency at the end of today's session here. So make sure to speak and repeat with me, okay? We're going to go back to the question, and then we'll go through the answer together one more time, all right? So here we go. So here's the original question. Speaking part 2, talk about an object that you own which needs training to use. What is this object? What do you use it for? Where did you get it? What kind of training does it need? And what is the best place to learn this skill? Okay. Here we go, everyone. And I'm making this up just like you. I don't actually use my skipping rope every day. I don't even know when I used it last. So it's no different than anybody else. But it's easy to make this up, okay? I think we've all had enough experience with a skipping rope that we can make this up if we know what we're doing, okay? All right, so from the top, 3, 2, 1. One object which I have in my possession and takes a fair bit of practice to use well is my green and black skipping rope. To be more precise, this is a 2.5 meter long braided nylon rope with thick plastic handles that even have a digital counter in the handles to show the number of times I have jumped in a training session. This particular skipping rope was gifted to me by my wife for my birthday 3 years ago when COVID started, as she knew I would be spending much time at home and she wanted to make sure that I would stay fit and healthy. So she bought it from our local sports store, Sports Check. It took me a bit of time to figure out how to use this exercise equipment well. The way it works is I need to hold the handles tight so they don't fly out of my hands even when they get sweaty. And then by twisting my wrists, arms, and shoulders, I can fling the rope around my head and jump over them as they pass under my feet, as it passes under my feet. Of course, there are lots of advanced techniques to double jump or twist the rope to either side of my body, and this makes the exercise more interesting. The best place to learn about skipping rope is at the gym from a personal trainer that has years of experience. However, because of the lockdowns at the time that I got my skip rope, the best option for me was to learn the right techniques from instructors on YouTube. Certainly, having and using the skipping rope has brought me lots of benefits, including improved stamina, cardiovascular health, and my calves have doubled in size. And then you can show the examiner, here, check it out. No, don't do that. Don't show your calves to the examiner. But just a funny visual there for you anyway. See, check out my calves. Ooh, those are strong. Okay, cardiovascular health. Let's make that correction. And then the examiner will say, okay, your 2 minutes is up, roughly, right? Now I will ask you a question or two connected to your response and some questions related to this topic. And we're going to do just that in 30 minutes, okay? We're going to take a short break now, and I'll come back in 30 minutes, and then we're going to have some questions related to this topic for part 3. Yeah, don't show your calves to the examiner. That was just a joke, okay? Check out these biceps. It's all from the skip rope. The beach is that way and the water's this deep. Okay, so jokes aside, I will be back. That will get you a band 9, okay? Simple is beautiful. Remember to check out Toastmasters if you have a club in your area. I think maybe they even do online kind of sessions and meetings now as well. Students, don't forget aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Tons of great videos and materials there for you to improve your English and communication. And it's just, again, one-time payment for lifetime access. All you need to do is click that big red button. Okay, everyone, I will be back shortly. Stay with me. Hang in there. Maybe do a little bit of skip rope in the next 30 minutes. Get the heart pumping. I don't know if you have one. Might be time to dust it off, take it out of the closet. It's a bit early for me, but anyway, I'll see you soon. I'm Adrian, signing out from Victoria for now. I'll be back shortly. Bye.